for the Day 6 FTP on 12 Wonders. We appreciate you all for taking time off your busy schedule during this weekend to join us in this afternoon. We are sure that you will learn a lot today. May I invite everyone to invoke the Almighty through a silent prayer. Thank you, everyone. It's a glad welcome we bring to you this afternoon. Filled with the desires, hopes, and dreams we all share, may I now request our esteemed head of the department, Dr. D. Radhika, to deliver the welcome address and to introduce today's resource person.
So, a very good afternoon to all of you gathered here. And although it's a weekend, I appreciate all your sincere efforts to come and join our FTP. So we have still participants joining in. I hope it will be going on increasing as we start into the program. So I would like to extend my heartfelt welcome to our chief guest of today and my other colleagues from my department and all the other participants who have joined this 6th day of our FTP program. A warm welcome to all of you. So we have with us today a very eminent personality on a very different topic. So we talk of butterflies for our many other purposes, but being zoologists, we don't even, including me, I'm telling, I'm not very much aware of all its different on it as in a research aspect. So it's a very great honor, ma'am, to have you here with us to talk and enlighten us on the key area of your research on butterflies. So I'm happy to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Joy Shamila. She is the assistant professor from American College, Madurai, and she has about 19 years of teaching experience. She has completed her PhD from Madurai Kamaraj University, and early she started her career at she was a lecturer at Lady Doe College up to 2001, and later she joined American College, where she is the assistant professor, and she's continuing the same till date. She has several minor research projects from UGC as well as Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology. She has 2 UGC minor projects she has completed, and one on biodiversity of butterflies in Alagar Hills, Tamil Nadu, and the other one on the study on the biology and captive breeding of butterflies in Alagar Hills. And from the Tamil Nadu State Council, she has obtained a project on the diversity of butterflies of Sirumala Hills for the tune of about 3.65 lakhs. And she has about 16 publications in national and international journals, as well as about 14, she has presented papers in 14 seminars and conferences in national as well as international seminars. She has attended various training programs and workshops. And not only in diversity, she has also updated herself in molecular biology and biotechnological methods by attending these workshops and training programs. Her research interests are in biodiversity conservation, butterfly diversity, barcoding butterflies. That's quite interesting, ma'am. We'd like to hear that more about that. Moth diversity and nanostructures. So I think this FTP on recent trends in entomology should have a resource person like you to enlighten us on the latest developments, what you have learned and come across during your research journey. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to our institution's FTP program. And thank you so much for sparing your time to come and join with us. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the nice words. And it's my pleasure to address the participants of the FTP program at VOC College. And it's indeed a very, very pleasure to talk about butterflies, especially. It's my favorite thing. And just like as the head of the department told, oh, butterflies, they are something, molecular biology, they are something good or at a higher level. And butterflies, yes, when I started my research also, I had something like that. but these have a very, very deep sense. When you go into this, you will find deeper depths. You can diversify this in so many fields. So start with my topic is jewel wonders or wing flowers. So we call them as flying jewels because they are a beauty to see. Very beautiful, and all of them admire butterflies. So in my first slide, if you see, this is a very beautiful butterfly. It is called as a blue Mormon butterfly. This butterfly is the second largest butterfly in South India. And this butterfly has both, it is a mixture of black and blue color. And this is seen on a very common flower that is Vinca rosea. And now to give importance to butterflies, people are releasing stamps on butterflies also. So this one I especially wanted, this was captured in our butterfly garden, which is at American College. So so as ma'am introduced, I'm Joy Shamila, heading the undergraduate department of zoology, the American College. So the first slide, as you see, this is how people preserve butterflies. As an entomologist, everyone would know preservation, but preservation should not be done. Or when you carry any field study, or when you go out into the forest, now what they ask you is, we give you permission to go into the forest, but do not collect butterflies. But generally, this is how people take butterflies and preserve it. It's done in an insect box, as you know. And there are different methods of preservation. So you take a butterfly, put it on a spreader, then you spread its wings, and then this is how it is preserved. If you don't spread it, what will happen? The wings will break and you will not be able to preserve it properly. Or if you want to, if the wings become stiff, you have to place it in a desiccator. Then you have to spread out its wings. So these are the different, I just wanted to show this slide because this slide is showing you different colors of butterflies, very beautiful butterflies. And the center one, you can see it's a very beautiful and very enchanting one, right? And next is, this is our collection. Normally our students, this was done at least 20 years back. And if you go to ZSI, they maintain a collection of butterflies, which is even 100 years old. So generally, as you see, why butterflies are important. So even when I started my project, I thought, why should I work on butterflies? So why not we go into biotechnology or molecular biology? But now let me unravel certain facts on butterflies. So the reason why butterflies are important is they have an aesthetic value. So just as you see in the picture, you can see so many beautiful butterflies having different colors. So everyone, right from old to the young, whether you are entomologists or whether you are lay people, all people love butterflies because of their aesthetic value. And next important thing is butterflies have an ecological value, because if butterflies are totally lost from the system, the entire food chain will be lost, right? They will. So as you know, any organism is important in a food chain. So even if one butterfly become extinct, the entire food chain or the food web will be tilted. And next is they have educational value. If you take, for example, when we teach evolution, we teach about mimicry. So we teach about Mullerian mimicry, Batesian mimicry. So these normal butterflies, they try to mimic other butterflies which are toxic. So untoxic butterflies mimic toxic butterflies. And some butterflies, they merge with the environment. So they have educational values, and you can teach even children regarding butterflies. And next is the scientific value. Scientific value also, they have certain nanostructures. So nanostructures and people going for bark coding of these butterflies. So butterflies generally, these are the importance of butterflies. They have aesthetic, ecological, educational, scientific value. And another important thing is, if you see in the forest, if you allow the forest just to grow like that, what will happen? The entire canopy will fill up the floor. So you cannot see the floor of the forest at all. But the larvae of butterflies, when they feed on the leaves of these butterflies, they help to allow the sun to penetrate the forest floor, and they help in, what can I say? They help in bacterial decomposition, right? So butterflies, apart from food chain, they also open up the forest. And butterflies, they fascinate the young and the old. In olden days, what happens is butterflies are portrayed in literature. So you could have seen so many songs from various movies, Oh Butterfly, like that. And so many musical lyrics are made up of butterflies. There are also poetry on butterfly. There are biblical values on butterflies. Butterflies are also predicted in literature. And normally not only as entomologists, but also lay people, they portray them for freedom. So even if you want to see something, freedom, you can see butterflies flying. For freedom, they are there, and they are also for the beauty and also for the peace. So if there is a very serene environment, butterflies are there, and it represents also peace. And apart from these, advertisers and illustrators also use butterflies all over the world. So entire world, or right from the young to the old, they love butterflies. And advertisers, illustrators, all of them, they use butterflies. And next is Native Americans. What do they do is to make a wish come true, they whisper into butterflies. So that is so normally there are some myths. So if you tell something in the butterfly, that is this wish can come true. And another important thing is, if you want people to get attached to wildlife, the first contact will be with birds, and the next contact is with butterflies. So you can, so these contacts with birds and butterflies will help people to have real contact with wildlife. And another important thing where butterflies are portrayed is they are symbol of rebirth. So normally a butterfly, what happens is when you see an adult, the adult looks so big, very beautiful. But when you see the larva of butterflies, it is so small, it is ugly. So some butterflies, they have, that is the larval forms, they resemble the excreta. They don't look very beauty or pretty, whereas the adult looks beautiful. So they say that it is a symbol of rebirth, and butterflies are a symbol of regeneration. And they also bring joy to people. So on seeing butterflies, so many butterflies, people will be very happy. And also it brings happiness. So all these are symbols of Native Americans. So to start with, so butterflies has got so many importance. And apart from that, as lay people or as entomologists, butterflies will teach you very important life lessons. So as you know, these butterflies, they show complete metamorphosis. They go from the egg, they become the larva, larva becomes pupa, and pupa becomes the adult. So what I've shown here is the larva. So there's one butterfly which is called as the common Mormon butterfly. The common Mormon is a very common butterfly, and the plant, host plant of this butterfly is lime tree. Right, so we have reared this type of butterfly also, and this is the pupa of the butterfly. So when you see the pupa, it looks so different. When you look at the adult, it is so beautiful. So that is what God is telling, or God tells us that don't be judgment about people who are in their progress, right? So when we learn something, we don't become a perfectionist, right? So we are at times we are not, we are imperfectionists, but at that time people commented us, right? So don't judge people when they are in the caterpillar stage. Let them also move to the next stage. So that is why, so God has made butterflies to teach us many lessons in life. So we should learn to be less judgmental and should be more tolerant. Do not judge people when they are in the caterpillar stage. This shows that they are in the work process. So never ever be judgment of people who are in the caterpillar stage. Later they'll become better, right? So this is a small story. So once a man, he saw a small pupa a small butterfly coming to try to come out of its cocoon. So this one, the previous slides I've shown you that this is the pupa. Within this covering, within this encasement, you can see the butterfly. So the butterfly was actually, there will be a line-like structure, ecdysial suture. Through the ecdysial suture, it will break open and the adult will come out. So what this butterfly was doing is, it was trying its best to break open the suture, and it was trying to come out. And this butterfly was struggling a lot. So once the man was seeing this, and what he did was, oh, this butterfly is struggling too much. Let me use my scissors, cut open the cocoon, and let me allow the butterfly to come out. So he did that, and what happened was the butterfly was crippled all through its lifetime. So it was not able to move. So this concept also tells you that when you see a butterfly, there are struggles in life. And only after struggling, it becomes a very beautiful butterfly. So similarly here also, what happened when this man tried to remove these struggles, the butterfly was lame for the whole of its lifetime. So God allows struggle to make us come up in life. So normally if you leave a butterfly to struggle and come out, what will happen is the fluid of the butterfly will spread through the entire body, and then it will become supple, and then it will develop the habit, or it will develop to fly very high and beautifully. But this man, when he thought that let me give a very easy job for the butterfly, the fluid was not able to pass on to the entire body, and the entire butterfly, the entire butterfly got shriveled. So this teaches us that if there are struggles in life, we could be strong, and we can become beautiful, and we can fly like a butterfly. Okay. So this is a book published by me, Butterflies of Alar Hills. My research topic was on Alar Hills, butterflies of Alar Hills, diversity of butterflies in Alar Hills. Actually, I think most of you would know about Alar Hills. There is a deity over there. It is a place of importance to Hindus, where people visit that. And there is a place in Alar Hills that is called as Tirtha Totti, where there is a perennial spring, perennial spring where the water flows always continuously. And people have a thought that if they drink the water out of the spring, so many diseases are cured, probably just like Kutralam. So if you drink the water out of Kutralam, this water passes through all the medicinal plants, and when you drink it, probably you are cured of many diseases. And the same myth also, it can be a myth or it can be a scientific fact, that when you drink a perennial water, which is found in a place in Alagar Hill, that place where you see the water is called as Nubra Gangai. And from that, when you drink the water out of that, you are cured of so many ailments. So this is a place where it is a tourist spot, and this is 25 kilometers from Madurai. And we have walked up and down the hills of Alagar Hills, and we have identified so many butterflies. Especially I have identified around 102 butterflies, and we have made a first report also, where according to that, there's a butterfly that is southern birding. As I go through the slide, as I pass on, I'll let you know what is a southern birding butterfly. I have noted a butterfly which is an endemic butterfly, which people have noted that is an endemic in Western Ghats, but I made a report that this is also seen in the Eastern Ghats. So Alagar Hills is a part of Eastern Ghats, and we have noted this also. So this is a small book published by the funding from the UGC, and this is the account of butterflies, of all the butterflies of Alagar Hills. So this is a paper. So as soon as I finished my thesis, this was published in the papers, that because there was no record of butterflies about Alagar Hills, even in the forest department. So this was published in the Hindu, where about butterflies and what are the different types of butterflies and how these were identified. And if you see this butterfly, that is, you can see a black and an yellow marking. This is a very biggest butterfly, and this is called as the southern birdwing. And most of the biodiversity people who study on butterflies, they have noted this butterflies only in the Western Ghats. Especially, they have even made a comment, or they have made a note that this is an endemic butterfly. But we have found out that this is the butterfly which is also located in Eastern Ghats. Now our study, so I have completed my study on Alagar Hills. Now we are starting with Sirmalai Hills. Even in Sirmalai Hills, we are able to identify this, and this is an endemic species in South India. So this is also one of the paper cutting published in the Madurai edition, Chennai edition, right? And based on one of my UGC project, we have started captive breeding of butterflies. So certain butterflies that are not endangered, these are captively reared in an enclosure where the temperature is maintained. And this is the district for DFO visited our place. And this was also a very interesting project carried out by our PG students. And these are the reports which came out in the papers. And so based on my study in butterflies, actually I was very much fascinated. I started loving butterflies. So I started collecting every bit of data. And to start with, this is a place in Bangalore, that is Banerghatta. If you have visited Banerghatta Zoo, they have a conservatory on butterflies. So this is the conservatory of butterflies. So when I visited this, I also got an idea to start a butterfly garden in our college. And we have started a butterfly garden where we try to entice butterflies, and there are about 30 species of butterflies which come to the garden. So this is a conservatory, and this is a dome-like structure where they have introduced all the host plants, nectar plants inside. And this is the beautiful entrance of the conservatory. And this Banerghatta Zoo is at Bangalore. And similarly, in India, there are about 1,501 species. And the London Museum, they have a huge collection of butterflies. So whatever picture I'm showing, most of these pictures have been taken by me and my students. So this is a butterfly. This is what I talked about, common Mormon butterfly. And this is a Lantana. Lantana are weeds. So normally if you see in the forest, Lantana is an invasive species. So this invasive species are attracted by butterflies, and these come to Lantana. Especially Lantana comes in various colors. You can see it in yellow, you can see it in red, you can see it in lavender and pink. And the common colors that attract butterflies is red and yellow. So this weed has been planted in the garden, and this is the common Mormon butterfly. Okay, so as we know, as we are all entomologists, all of us know, they belong to the group of order Lepidoptera. So all animals or all insects which have scales on the body they belong to Lepidoptera. And that is a very important identifying feature of butterflies. So normally why they are called as butterflies is so just like butter. If you touch butter, they are very, very soft to touch. And because of that, they are called as butter. And because they show flight, they are called as butterflies. So all these butterflies, they belong to the order Lepidoptera. And the wings have scales all over them. And especially Lepidoptera means scaly wings. And one more thing here, I've placed two butterflies. This is also a very beautiful butterfly. This is a white orange tip butterfly. And this is also a very rare butterfly to see, especially if you see in the forest, they don't come down, they fly high above. And these are butterflies. This is the Indian sunbeam, and this is the blue tiger butterfly. So it is called as a sunbeam because this generally, if you see the color of the sun at the time of dusk, you can see them orangish in color, and that is why it is named as Indian sunbeam. And this is a dark blue tiger butterfly. And normally butterflies are attracted towards flowers which are in groups, right? So in the previous slide, I showed you a lantana. Lantana is one which forms these are a cluster of flowers together. Similarly, in your garden, if you plant zinnia, you can attract these butterflies. And one more interesting facts about the dark blue tiger is these show migration. So when it is, even in yesterday's paper, I read that now they are tagging butterflies to study the migratory route. So if you see in the case of when in Western Ghats, so if it is going to be raining in Kerala, the butterfly from Kerala, they migrate to Eastern Ghats. They stay in for a time, the adults die, and the next generation Next generation comes and the next generation moves to the Western Ghats. So normally if you, now we are trying to relate butterflies to climate. If you see a large number of, in our college, we have witnessed a scene where we have seen around 10,000 butterflies in one place. And during that particular year, the rain was so good and the rain was so abundant. So now we are trying to pair in with butterflies, whether they can be indicator of climate. So if this entire year is going to be hot, we will not have visitors from the Western Ghats. And if the year is going to be in South Tamil Nadu, if you are going to have plenty of rain, probably you will see a lot of these dark blue tigers, right? So if you see why are butterflies very beautiful? The butterflies are beautiful because of the scales which you see on their wings. The scales are arranged in such a way with the pigments, so that gives color to the butterfly, that gives beauty to the butterfly. And very important thing is the scales are very, very species specific. So if you can study the scales of butterfly under the microscope, you can see it under the SEM, and you can see the intricacy of these scales, right? And butterflies commonly visit flowers. They visit flowers which are in a cluster. Okay, so this is how the scales looks like under the microscope. You just take a wing, place it on a slide and observe it under the microscope. This is how the different scales look like. So you can see a different pattern of butterfly, pattern of scale. So this is the brown scale, this is also a brown, black one, this is red. So based on the pigment which is present in the scale, that will give color to the butterfly. And this is another one picture of the scale. So we have studied the scale structure under a SEM, that is the scanning electron microscope. We are trying to look in for nanostructures, and this is how when you see through the SEM, the scale looks like this. So this is how, so if there are nanoparticles, probably I'll come to that later. So this is the intricate structure of the butterfly scale under SEM. And this is another scale under SEM, very, very beautiful. So that was a different butterfly. So it is a dark blue tiger, and this is a Pyrote Butterfly. And within these, so that was, so you can see in the last, in this slide, all of these scales, they have a ladder-like structure. Whereas here, the ladder is entirely filled with small, small beads. And this is a scale of another type of butterfly, where it has got a beautiful intricate structure within lace-like structure, which is intricately seen. So butterflies are beautiful, and they are beautiful because of the scales. The scales are pigments, and apart from that, the colors also come by scattering of light because of nanostructures. Now, as we try to know more about butterflies, you should know the basic things on butterflies, how butterflies are classified. So these butterflies, basically, they are classified into 5 families: Hesperidae, Papillonidae, Pyridae, Lycanidae, and Nymphalidae. So each one, they are placed in different categories according to the characteristic features of these butterflies. So let me introduce a very, very dull butterfly. So this is a very dull, drab, brown color butterfly. So normally when we think that butterflies are very beautiful, very brightly colored. There are also butterflies which are very dull. So this is an example of that. And most Hesperids, they are dull butterflies. And Hesperids, they are otherwise called as skippers. They are called as skippers because they have a very quick and fast flight. They fly very quickly. So that is why they are mistaken for moths. And if you see the body of these butterflies, the body is stout and it is also very, very big. And most of these butterflies are fond of flowers. And if you see the antenna of butterflies, they have a hook at their tips. And compared to other butterflies, the proboscis is longer compared to the body. So if you see, the body is short, and compared to that, the proboscis will be long. And you cannot see Hesperids. Hesperids cannot be seen commonly in most of the areas. It is normally seen in very forests where it is very thick, or it is seen to inhabit woody areas. And the next family of butterfly is Papillonidae. These papillonids are otherwise called as swallowtails. So, giving an example, so all butterflies, they take up the name from how they look like, right? So, if you see here at the tip of the hind wing, there is a tail-like structure. So, that is why most of the papillonids, they have a tail-like structure, and most of these swallowtails are very big butterflies. So, if you see the common marmon, the birdwing, all of them, they come under the papillonids, and they are very beautiful. But the number of species is very less, and they are most attractive, and because they are attractive, and most of them are endangered. So this is an example of a papillonid. It's a common marmon. This is our captive breeding facility where I have placed male female marmon, and male and female are placed inside so that they mate and they lay eggs. So this I've told, this is the southern birdwing which we have located in Alar Hills, and we have also located in Sirumalai Hills. So these are all, they were initially considered to be endemic to Western Ghats. Now they are also found in Eastern Ghats. And one very important not important, something very different from other butterflies is, this is the larva of the butterfly, of swallowtails. So normally butterflies, they have 5 instars. Of these 3 instars, if you see these 3 instars of butterflies, they have these larvae, they look like the excreta of birds. And this is the 4th instar of the larva. If you see in the front of this larva, you can see 2 fleshy structures which are protruded out. This is not the antenna, but this is otherwise called as the osmeterium. So when you disturb, so normally when we are disturbed by someone, we also retaliate back. So similarly, these caterpillars, to protect themselves, when you touch them or when you irritate them, what do is immediately they push out 2 structures from their head region, and these structures are called as osmeterium, and through these structures they remove a very bad odor smelling substance. So any predator that comes to this butterfly, they just run off. So even if I touch, when you rear and when you touch these butterflies, what happens is they produce a noxious substances. So these caterpillars, they have a bifid, that is, they are divided into 2. It is a fleshy translucent gland, and this is called as osmeterium, and this is located in the head of the butterfly. So all butterflies they give rise to caterpillars which are able to produce the osmeterium, and through this they are able to evade the predators. And this is another beautiful butterfly which we have captured in a butterfly garden. This is, I think most of you would have seen this butterfly. There are about, this is called as the lime yellow butterfly. And I told you that based on the color, you can, they are named. So this is a butterfly which has got a light lemon yellow color, just like your lime. And this butterfly, by its name, it feeds on the lime tree. And that is why it is called as lime yellow butterfly. And this is also a lantana. Previously, I showed you a lantana which was red in color. And this is a lantana flower which is of yellow color. So these are all clusters. And these cluster flowers will attract these butterflies. So as I told you, this osmeterium, they produce odorous substances. And this is to repel from the predators like ants, spiders, and praying mantids. This is another beautiful larva which we have photographed in our butterfly garden. Actually, this is a very poor fellow. It is very soft creature. It is not poisonous at all. But if you see this, it looks so poisonous and ferocious. So one will get very much, will be afraid to touch that particular species. And here also you can see 2 osmeterium which is coming out. And this is to repel the predators. So this osmeterium, so because they are very, what can I say? They are not toxic. They are not toxic to their predators. So to evade from the predators, they develop an appearance like this. And also they develop the osmeterium to produce pungent substances to repel off from predators. And the next family is family Pyridae. This includes all whites and yellows. So if you see maximum number of these family, in this family, they belong to they have a white color, they have yellow colors. So the wings are mainly white or yellow. But on the underneath side, if you see, these butterflies will have a brown color. So family Papyrids include whites and yellows. And this is also one of the pictures which we have captured in our captive breeding facility. We reared Lantana plants and we have placed, so I don't think whether you can see the butterfly. This is a small grass yellow butterfly. That it is a very small butterfly which is very common. And the white structure which you see is all the eggs. So when there is a competition for or when there is lack of host plants, what happens is within a single leaf they lay thousands of eggs, and most of these eggs they are cylindrical. So you can see these eggs standing on top, and mostly the eggs of butterflies are laid underneath. But here you can see the eggs are also are laid on the upper side of the butterfly, upper side of the leaf. And this next family of butterflies is Nymphalidae. They are otherwise called as brush-footed butterflies. So normally an insect has got 3 pairs of legs and 2 pairs of wings. So butterflies, they have 3 pairs of legs, but this type of, in this family, 1 pair is reduced. So 1 pair is not functional and they are reduced in size. And they look like the brush. If you take a look of this legs, they look like brush, and that is why they are called as brush-footed butterflies. The first pair of legs, they are not functional, they are reduced in size. And the legs are totally covered with hairs, and the forelegs are useless. And this is called as the evening brown butterfly, right? And this one so some butterflies, they help in pollination, and some help and they are the pests. So this is a pest of rice. And this is a very striking, or this is a very fascinating butterfly. This is called as the blue-tit on top. Very, very colorful, very beautiful. They have brilliant blue color. So most of the family lichenids, they include only blues. They are very pretty. And also there are butterflies which are very, very, very small under this family. And on top they are blue in color, and at the bottom they are brown in color. And very important thing is these caterpillars, they get associated with ants. They are tended by ants. And then their caterpillars, they can be used in biological control where they feed on aphids. Now coming to the why study about butterflies, right? As classical, so as zoologists, we all move into biotechnology, we move into molecular biology, and we all move into a higher end technology. But when we study the classical zoology, this has got certain implication, right? So most of the biologists are not working with butterflies. So when I read through so many papers, I could see that many physicists, chemists, they work on butterflies because they are moving into a field which is called as biomimicry. All of you, I think, based on nanotechnology, people are trying to produce so many products, right? And people are trying to mimic a shirt just like a lotus leaf. If you take a lotus leaf, water cannot stand in the lotus leaf. So similarly, if these nanostructures are fabricated into the shirts, what happens is there won't be any dirt on the shirt. You need not wash your shirts. You need not wash your clothes. So that is, people are trying to mimic science or mimic biological organism. So that is a science which is emerging now, and that is called as biomimicry. Biomimicry is the science and art of emulating nature's biological ideas. So Wright brothers, they gained their idea from birds. So similarly, nano science people are trying to get so many ideas from butterflies. So generally we think that butterfly wings are colored, but actually the wings are not colored. The wings are transparent, and over the transparent wings, you can see the scales arranged. So people are unaware of the fact that butterfly wings are transparent, and over these transparent wings are the scales which give color to the butterfly. And generally when you touch a butterfly, what happens? The scale comes off. So when the scale comes off, what happens is the butterfly does not die, but it is not able to fly properly. So it loses its pigmentation. So this is a very, very beautiful butterfly. This is called as a Morpho Butterfly. Very pretty. As I've already told you, these butterflies under the family Lycanidae, it includes all blues. So this is a one blue and this is of different blue. And people are studying how to work with these Morpho butterflies. So when these Morpho butterflies were put in a particular solvent, there was a total change in color, and they thought that they can use these butterflies for biomimicry. So this is the scale of a Morpho butterfly. So when you take a wing, keep it under the microscope, this is how the scales are arranged. The scales are arranged just like a tiles on a roof. On top, when you have tiles, tiles are arranged one over the other. This is how it looks like. There are some blue colored scales and there are some which are black colored. And I told you, when you go into the intricacy, this has got a structure like this. The stem structure looks like this. So this is, they call it as a Christmas tree structure. And they say that this has got nanomaterials. Now we are going into, I'm going to talk about a field of biomimicry. I'm going to talk about nanomaterials. So why scales? Why should there be scales on butterflies? The scales are found in butterflies as waterproofing. Normally when it rains, you will not be able to see any insect. So what happens is, if a drop falls on the insect, what will happen? This will create a drag force and the insect will not be able to fly. That is why most of the insects, they don't come out during when it is raining. So, and apart from that, scales act as a waterproofing. Even there is a drop of water, automatically the water will roll down. And another important aspect of the wing is they are aerodynamic, they help in flight. And another very, very important part of the scales is they help in the absorption of light. So normally butterflies, they have they show different various types of activities. So one type of activity is basking. I'll come to that later. So this helps, the scales help in absorption of light. And next is the color. The color of scale comes from the pigment, and if it is brown or black, it is because of the pigment. But if it is a green colored butterfly, if it is a blue colored butterfly, if it is a red colored butterfly, this is because of nanomaterials. And it is because of the scattering of light, and that is why most of the physicists, they contribute into the study of the wings of butterflies. So I was talking about biomimicry. You replicate a butterfly wing. So that is what physicists try to do. They try to replicate a butterfly wing and they make so many objects or products out of these butterflies. So biomimicry, it speaks of innovations, and the nanotopography of butterfly is very important. So because of the nanotopography of the butterfly, it is able to cast off dirt and water. So if you are able to elucidate the nanomaterial found in butterfly, you can have waterproof shirts. So now we are trying to wear raincoats, right, to protect us from rain. So if a nanomaterial is synthesized like this, even your normal shirts can prevent water from entering, and it will just flow down. So just as you have bulletproofs, similarly this butterfly wing, if it is replicated, it can become a waterproof material for your textile industry. And similarly, the same concept can be applied to medical equipment. So normally, if you keep medical equipment inserting into each patient, what happens? There is a growth of bacteria in the medical equipment. So to prevent that, if nanostructures are placed over the medical equipment, and that will prevent the growth of organisms on the medical equipment, and that medical equipment can be kept sterile. And another thing is they are able to receive light based on the surface, wing surface. So the wing surface will provide you with the topography which helps them to absorb light. So to coming to the fact on butterflies, most of the butterflies are actually cold-blooded. So these organisms, they don't have any mechanism to provide heat in their body. So what do they do is, to help them fly, they need heat. So what these butterflies do is they bask in the sun. So normally we would have seen foreigners, to get them exposed to sun, they just lie down in the sun, right? They take sun bath. Similarly, these butterflies also take sun bath. What do? They sit on any material. They just open their wings, sit quietly underneath the sun. This type of activity, you can notice them at when you come around 10 a.m. or during 11 a.m., you can see these butterflies spreading their wings and they are able to absorb the sunlight. And this process, they go in for a process called as basking. So butterflies are cold-blooded. They cannot regulate their body temperature. If they are cold, they cannot fly. So to warm up their muscles, they go in for basking. So these scales can be replicated as nanostructures for solar, like to absorb the solar light. So they can replace your solar panels. These scales can form a part of the solar panel so that they can effectively absorb sunlight. So this is a basking phenomena where the butterfly it lies quietly, it stays on the leaf without any activity. It is very quiet, lying there for some time. It gains heat, and after gaining heat, it normally flies. So this is also a common Mormon butterfly. And next is the American military is interested in detecting vapors. So a mimic is developed using butterflies. So what do they do? As I've already told you, when a butterfly, when it is normal, it is blue in color. But when it is exposed to certain vapors, what happens? The color changes. So if you want to sense any vapor, you allow a butterfly to fly into that particular place. And if there are vapors, and if these vapors fall on the butterfly, the color of the butterfly will change. And based on that, you can detect that this particular type of vapor is found in the butterfly. So generally, we know that Chironomus larva is found in a place where the water is polluted. And if you want to see mayflies are found in places where the water is very clean. Similarly, if you see a butterfly, you send a blue color butterfly, and the blue color butterfly becomes green, it shows that there is something wrong. There are some vapors which are escaping. So a Morpho butterfly will be able to sense vapors and change the optical appearance. That is, the color of the butterfly wing can be changed. And so butterflies can be used as sniffers. So normally Polish people, they have sniffing dogs. You don't need to have sniffing dogs. Just send a butterfly into a room. They automatically change their color. So these butterflies play a role in military, industrial, and gas utility field operations. So this was the previous thing I told you. So on exposure to a solvent or a vapor, the color changes. And next is people are trying to mimic the butterfly wings to paints. So actually, if you see, beautiful colored paints are very, very toxic. Similarly, the color on our dress material, they are also toxic. So the Tirupur industry was totally closed because they were letting out water, which was highly polluting the environment. People are trying to now develop nanomaterials, just like butterfly scales, so that if these nanomaterials are placed in the textiles, they can produce different colors, beautiful colors. Similarly, if these nanomaterials are placed on the walls, they can mimic or they can produce beautiful glistening colors so that you need not go in for toxic paints, right? So you can get in biomimicry. By biomimicry, you can produce colors for your walls, and you can also produce colors for your textiles. And that is what paints can be produced. And this paint can be designed to produce a specific color, and also it can be produced to reflect UV. These are the applications of butterfly scales. So there is a pairing of entomology and nanotechnology. Now the field is going into nanotechnology. So people are not biologists, but physicists. They are trying to pair entomology and biotechnology. So entomologists, what will they do is, they'll identify a Morpho butterfly, find out the scale, find out the inner intricacies of the scale, and they'll give it to the physicists. These physicists will try to replicate it, and they'll have an application. They'll try to find an application for this. And similarly, they are trying to find counterfeits notes, that is waterproof banknotes. If you want to find an original note, if you keep, say, scales which are replicated from butterflies, you can know which is an original note and which is not an original note. So the original note will have nanostructures which will produce a certain color, and the duplicate notes will not have those nanostructures. So from these Morpho butterflies, one can learn about physical iridescence, and this will solve the problem of pollution. So this will help to make environmentally friendly dyes, paints, and they'll be able to produce fabric. So this was the very important concept which highly attracted me. And probably even if some of you are interested, you can collaborate with your physics people, try to find out the nanomaterials, try to synthesize the nanomaterials and go in for various applications. So so as you know, they form a part of the important part of the food chain. There is a very important message also that one should conserve butterflies. So there are legal measures to conserve butterflies. One is the WPA Act, that is the Wildlife Protection Act, which was introduced in the year 1972. And they have various schedules, and there are about 6 schedules. And under Schedule 1, if you catch any butterfly under Schedule 1, the person is subjected to imprisonment for 6 years and fine. And so to conserve butterflies, you have to have butterfly parks, research stations, and you can go in for captive breeding. So we have established a butterfly garden in our college. And this was the place that was given to us, which was totally without anything. And now we have developed a butterfly garden in this place, which is able to attract so many butterflies. I've not introduced the garden which has been built up. So especially Dr. Jayalalitha's, our CM's pet project was having a butterfly park. And she has instituted a butterfly park in Srirangam. So if people are interested, you can go into Srirangam, and we have visited Srirangam where they have a captive breeding facility also, and it's a park which attracts so many butterflies. So if you want to study something on nanomaterials, or if you want to do something on barcoding, you should know the basic activities of butterflies. So butterflies perform basic activities like basking, feeding. The first important activity is feeding, and all butterflies do not have the same type of food. So some butterflies, it will be actually, before I started my research, I thought that butterflies will only feed on nectar. But later only on reading so many articles and on observing articles, I found out that butterflies feed on so many things. They feed on fruits, they feed on dead crabs, they feed on excreta, and they feed on animal dung. So most of these butterflies, they don't have specialized mouth parts. They have proboscis, and through the proboscis, they are able to sip the nectar or sip the juices. But the size of the proboscis will vary. And caterpillars, they spend their time feeding on plant material, especially it's the host material. The host material will differ from one caterpillar to the other, and it will differ from one butterfly to the other. And this is a very important take-home message, that is, some prefer nectar, some feed on liquids found in rotting fruits, some feed on the ooze from trees, some feed on animal dung and various animal dung. So this was news for me, that they feed on other components also. So when you normally, if you visit a butterfly park or a butterfly conservatory, they normally keep fruits. So these butterflies, you can see them, this butterfly is just extending its proboscis, and it is extending its proboscis through the fruit, and it is taking the fruit juice of the fruit. And this is a butterfly, very dull drab butterfly. But this drab butterfly, it is called as a Barren Butterfly, and this one feeds on overripe fruits. It does not feed on nectar, but it is able to pierce through the ripe fruits, and it can just suck the ooze from the fruit. And these are a group of butterflies. So I think this picture is not mine, whereas the other pictures, either we would have photographed in the site, or we would have photographed in the butterfly garden. These are a group of butterflies. They come to dung, right? They come to dung, any excreta. You can see groups like this. And this is also another beautiful butterfly. This is called as the banded peacock butterfly. It looks just like a peacock. Has beautiful green colored, and this is one here. You can see this is doing a mud puddling activity. So the next activity is butterfly feed. They also go into a concept, or go into a physiological concept, that is mud puddling. So generally, if the mud is wet, they put their proboscis, drink water in the proboscis, and apart from that, they also take sodium from the soil which is found there. and that is used for reproduction. Especially male butterflies, they go in for mud puddling. And here you can see groups of butterflies. They visit, and this was also very interesting. This is a group of, this is a blue tiger, so it is called as a blues. You can see this is called as a dark blue tiger. And the other one is a brown colored one. This is called as common Indian crow. And in Alavarils, during one particular season, we have seen around 50,000 butterflies at one particular place. And immediately after these butterflies come, within 1 week, there is a very good shower of rain. And just now, as our project is going in Sirmalai Hills, here we could photograph butterflies which are found in groups in one particular root. So they feed also from the ooze of certain roots of plants. And these are groups of butterflies. They also go in for mud puddling. And this is a common Mormon along with the birdwing. They are in mud puddling. So normally, when they go in for mud puddling, either they are solitary or they can be found in groups. And next activity that butterfly do is they lay eggs. So if you see, the butterfly is so huge, but if you see the egg of a butterfly, very, very small, so tiny, it just looks like a speck. So this the egg of butterflies, the shape varies, and this is a very small globular egg, and this is an egg of a lime yellow butterfly. And this is the medium plant, this is the Ashoka plant, and this is the egg of a blue triangle butterfly. And butterflies are highly specific, where they lay their eggs only on specific host plants. So the activities they perform is basking, they perform mud puddling, and they also go in for egg laying. And once only if you're sure of these activities, you can go into any research. So if one wants to study the behavior of butterflies, they can just observe these activities in what type of plants they do, which type of host plants they go in for, which type of nectar plants they go in for. So my highlight on butterflies is on biomimicry. So there are so much of research going on biomimicry. As biologists, if you can pair up with physicists or chemists, we can come up with novel applications where they are used in paints, where they are used in textiles. They can have a solar application. Let me just show you a few pictures of butterflies which we have captured. I have a lot, but because of time constraint, probably I'm limiting. And this is a very beautiful butterfly. This is the common leopard. So this looks like the spots of the leopard, and that is why it is called as the common leopard butterfly. These all belong to nymphalids. And I told you that we, as a layman or as a person who's just learning butterflies, when I just started my research, I was astonished to see this. These butterflies were just feeding on dung, the excreta. Probably they get certain minerals which is not found in flowers. And this is called as angle castor butterfly because if the young one, the larva, feeds on the castor plant. And this is a butterfly which is mating. And if you can see, if you see the wings of these butterflies, so there's one butterfly which is called as a map butterfly. It just has the lines as you see on the map. So similarly here also this castor butterfly, they have all angle lines on the wings. And this is also a beautiful butterfly. This is called as the common Jezebel butterfly. Very beautiful to look at. And it has got very beautiful colors like yellow, white, and red. And as I've already told you, this is a sunbeam butterfly. It looks like a sunbeam. The color looks like a sunbeam, and that is why it is named as a sunbeam butterfly. This is a commander butterfly. And this is a beauty. So this is called as the common banded peacock. And this was photographed on one of our visits to the forest. Normally, you don't find it in our places where there is habitation, where you see people around. And this one is very beautiful, where it has got a shade of, it has got a band of a different green, and this is different green. And the people are trying to study, physicists are studying on these butterflies because they have nanostructure. So on one view, if you see this, it will look green. On the other view, it will look blue. And this is the white orange tip butterfly. This is also a beautiful butterfly. And this one, this is a decoy butterfly. So this is the fruit of Lantana. This is called a silver line butterfly. So butterflies are normally named as per the appearance or what is the food plant they eat. Just like any bird in biology comes from of what it is. So if you see here at the end, at the tail, this part looks like the head, but actually the head is in the front, and that is why it is called decoy butterfly. So when a bird tries to eat a butterfly, it will just knock down the head. But the other part looks like the head. So what happens? This is knocked down. The head is this decoy part is knocked down. So only wings are affected. So the butterfly is able to survive, and it gets its name silver line because the entire body has got lines running around, and this is and that is why it is called silver line. And this is a totally, I wanted to show you, this is a totally different butterfly because it is very drab color. I told you, we all think that butterflies are very beautifully colored, but I wanted to show you this is a drab butterfly and it is brown in color, and this is called as glad eye bush brown. It has got an eye. So this one, the bird will think that this is the eye and it will target the wing. So the wings will get affected, but not the head portion. And by this way, it is able to escape its predators. And this is also another butterfly that is very beautiful. It is called as a red Pyrote Butterfly. This is the picture which I have kept in the front page of my book. This is a red Pyrote Butterfly. On the underneath side, it is so beautiful. You can see black spots, white spots, and orange spots. And if it opens its wings, you can see this color. It has black and orange combination. And this was also one which was captured in a butterfly garden. This is a butterfly which is mating the common rose butterflies. Here you can see the wings of this butterfly. And this is a picture, a funny picture where normally butterflies also get attracted towards the sweat. So normally if someone sweats a lot, they come and sit on your body and they feed on the sweat of your body. So once this is when I was in the garden, this butterfly visited me and this was sitting on my sari, and the color of the butterfly and this matched my sari. This is the blue triangle butterfly. And this is also another rare collection of butterflies. So as we were breeding, when a student entered inside, she had flowers on her head, which I think it had nectar, and the scent of the flower attracted. And this was a butterfly which visited her head. So normally when you go into foreign countries, they give you a small strip where they coat with certain substance which has sodium. So when you keep that paper in your hand, immediately all the butterflies get attracted to your hand. Now let me finish my talk. Probably I was not very boring. Yes, ma'am? No answer from your side?
No, ma'am, definitely it was not boring.
Oh, okay. So
interesting facts about the butterflies.
Okay. So let me stop with a small quote. Only after the last tree has been cut down, only after the last river has been poisoned, only after the last fish has been caught, only then you will find that money cannot be eaten. So this is a Cree Indian proverb where there was a small community of Cree members and they have given this proverb. Now all of us have a lot of money in our hand. We think that we can purchase anything, but when you finally note that there is not a tree to buy with your money, and finally when you note that there is no water and the river, all your river has been poisoned, and finally when you note that there is no fish in your river, and then only we will know that money cannot buy anything. So that is what is going on now. We indiscriminately, we manipulate nature. Indiscriminate, that is, there is a lot of pollution around, and let us try to conserve nature. It can be either a small organism or a big organism. Conservation is a must. And this is a proverb which attracted me very much. So let me thank you for the opportunity given, and as a butterfly, to consider myself as a lepidopterist, actually I got very much interested into butterflies. And I should thank my mentor, my teacher who introduced me the world of butterflies. So even as a student of zoology, till I came into this teaching career, I did not know much about butterflies. So I should thank God for giving me an opportunity to gain an insight into butterflies. Thank you. And thank you all for your patient listening, because this is a time where 3 to 4 very hot and we tend to sleep. Yes. And this is also a weekend. So thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for such an interesting talk. Participants, if you have any queries, I'm sure ma'am will be pleased to answer them. The session is open for discussions. Dear participants, if you have any queries, you can ask.
Participants, please post your questions on chat box. Ma'am is with us. Participants.
There is a suggestion, ma'am, and no, the student is trying to, Dr. Nalini is telling us we will also try to make a butterfly garden with your suggestions, ma'am.
Can you repeat it, ma'am? Not audible. Volume is low.
Ma'am, there was one chat telling that she has been inspired by the butterfly garden. So she's also going to try making a butterfly garden, ma'am.
Very good. Sure, ma'am. I'll offer my expertise in that field, and you can surely develop a butterfly garden.
There's another question from Vaishnavi Vasudevan, ma'am. What plants can be used to make a butterfly garden? Or what plants will be most useful for attracting the butterflies?
The common plants is you can go in for nerium, arali chedi. So normally when you see go into the four-way, so the one which separates the four-way on both sides, they would have placed nerium plants. So nerium plants helps in this becomes the host plant of common Indian crow. So you can use both host plants and nectar plants. You need not think that I should plant a very rose garden. If I have a rose garden, I can have more butterflies. It is not so. These plants, that is, these butterflies get attracted to plants which you see on the roadside. So especially tridax. Tridax in Tamil, you call it as tatapu. And then there is one common, another plant that is tumbai, that is Leucas aspera. And then nerium. So the butterflies, they have specific host and nectar plants. And if you plant these, you can surely invite butterflies to your home or to your college or to your garden.
Ma'am, we have a question from Bhupavadi. How we can improve butterflies numbers, ma'am? Nowadays we can't see any butterflies. So they're asking you what are the reasons in which we can increase the population of butterflies?
Why there is a decrease?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you in your environment, if you can see a lot of butterflies, it shows that you are living in a healthy environment. But if your environment is polluted or if the climatic conditions are not suitable, just like some indicators, you cannot see butterflies in the system. So because their numbers have they have come down because we have made all our gardens into lawns. We make lawns in our houses, but we don't have gardens. So that is one reason. And another reason is you don't have a cover, that is green cover near your houses. All your places are become residential, and that is the reason where decrease plants, and also because of climate change also the butterfly numbers decrease, and also it's also due to pollution.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another question from Dr. B. Kavita Bharati. Do butterflies provide pollination amenities? Is there any specific plant species which is totally dependent on any specific lepidopterans?
There are so many plants. They are not totally dependent on lepidopterans. There are plants which are dependent on bees and butterflies, because bees and butterflies, they act as pollinators. And there are plants which are pollinated by plants and which are pollinated by bees and butterflies.
Thank you, ma'am. So participants, any other queries?
Good evening, ma'am. Very lucid presentation, ma'am. This was superb presentation on your side. I would like to get a point related to, is there any ethical guidelines to be followed when we are doing research using butterflies, ma'am?
Actually, ma'am, the forest department now prevents all type of collecting butterflies. So normally when you go in for research, like when you are going to work on the wings of butterflies, especially if you want to work on the nanostructures, well and good, it's going to be a dead specimen. You can go in for that. But till now, the people are not asking for ethical clearance for butterflies, just as we work with the mice or something else. So normally, as long as you don't work on threatened butterflies, that is okay. But if you are working on endangered and other things, there might be some problems. So you should actually, if you are going to work on butterflies, you should get permission from the Biodiversity Board.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, there is another question from Dr. S. Muttalagi. Is there any bioluminescent butterfly?
Is there any?
Bioluminescent butterfly, any light emitting butterflies?
There are no, still now they have not identified just like fireflies, there are no bio-iridescent, but even in light, they show one, on reflectance on one side, they show one color, and on reflectance on other side, they show a different color due to nanostructures.
Okay, ma'am. The participants are asking for your PPT, ma'am.
PPT. These are all my original photographs. Probably I share it, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. And there is another question, like in India, which place the butterfly species is rich?
In which particular place?
Place where we can find more number of butterflies.
Especially when you go deep inside the forest. If you think, normally when we have visited forests, in dense forest, we don't find many butterflies. That is when the cover is so thick, there are no butterflies. But in between, when there are spaces like when light penetrates inside the forest area, and when it is a pristine area also, when there is not much of, there should be light entry, and also they should be free of anthropogenic disturbances. You can see butterflies in the forest, more number of butterflies. So especially in other hills, when we were when I was doing my research, there was one area which is called as the Bison Valley. And it is very difficult to access that particular place. And when we visited that place, it was actually a great treat for us, where we could see so many butterflies. So the area should be pristine and the condition should be favorable for butterflies.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, do you have any other queries? So, Geeta ma'am, can we wind up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Niranjan.
Yes, ma'am. And for the closing remarks, may I invite Dr. B. Geeta, Associate Professor, Department of Zoology, to propose the vote of thanks.
I deem it a great pleasure to propose vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank God Almighty, who has given us this opportunity to continue with the history of this FDP program. I thank our Honorable Secretary and Principal for providing us this wonderful platform to conduct this program successfully. Thank you, sirs. I thank our beloved HOD, Dr. Radhika, for her constant guidance and support to conduct this program. Thank you, ma'am. I thank the resource person, Dr. Joy Shamila, Assistant Professor, American College, Madurai, for a wonderful lecture on winged butterflies. Audience transformation is guided along a grand plan similar to that metamorphosis of a butterfly as told by our resource person. Among all the insects and bugs, the butterfly is very colorful and noteworthy. We gained a very good knowledge through our presentation, ma'am. We thank you for the spreading such an inspirational presentation on butterflies. All the photographs from your presentation was eye-catching and excellent, ma'am. Once again, I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I thank colleagues of our college and faculty members from our other colleges and participants from other universities. Thank you everyone who has attended this program. I thank Dr. Gomati Noyam, Head Department of Computer Science, for this technical assistance. Thank you, sir.